Probably doing both 12 and 28, but
Yeah.
and 10, okay.
Yeah.
Additions, corrections, comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Bill, communication.
Okay, so you've got a list of our bills. We've got the regular NYSEG bill for $171. We've got CDC, the monthly interest of $1,583. I believe that is our last interest payment. So the next step is going to be paying back the loan itself. You've got invoices from Mike and myself. Hair speech, the Danable and McKee came to $64.50. We've got a Highlander invoice for $85,000, CNS for $2,095. The others, Garden Plow, GoDaddy, were both day and NYSEG are paid online, so it's just the regular monthly thing for them. There are checks that we're signing today. We got the last pilot payment, which was from Grover, so there are checks there for the county and the town of Aurelius and the Union Springs School District for that. There was in the audit penalty payment for late payment. I'm trying to follow up on that to make sure how much of that money, who it goes to. So I don't want to cut any checks until I'm sure they're going in the right place. And the taxes are all paid and taken care of. So.
To pay the bills.
Discussion. How did we make out with the penalty on general?
I think it was like $2,500, the total amount.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't figure out who it goes to, so I just want to make sure how that's spread out. Yeah.
Further questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, it's before the treasurer, then we're going where we got.
Okay. So, first of all, the issue with the interests that we talked about last month was my fault. I thought I had reconciled the interest on the Key Lake money market, and I hadn't actually done that reconciliation. So for the year so far, our interest is $8,139.62. We didn't have anything big happen last month. We got a payment for the Veterans of Aurora that paid us an application fee, $3,000. Yeah, so we got a $3,000 project fee, and the grant income that's listed there, that's actually an accrual. We haven't received it yet, but I put that in as a receivable. So that's for that EDA grant. Otherwise, there wasn't anything too big and crazy.
Approve the treasurer report.
Okay.
But they say in a discussion, questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We'll drop down to new business. Bill and Larry, Helen?
Gentlemen, so as I believe most of you know, Pete Marshall had reached out on behalf of Barrett, Bill and Larry about this stretch of land we own off West Genesee, which borders a bit of their property as well as the former Wood property, which is now owned by the Solar Farm. So they have to come in and speak about their intent thought behind purchasing one for yours.
Basically, it's the old railroad back. that runs next to our property, the Nichols building. This, brief history, it's always been a water situation since we bought it. We've got the water coming from West Genesee coming down through the parking lot. You've got your side, the railroad. And then on top of that, we have a couple of pumps that are continually going to keep the water away from the building. It's been a struggle. And basically, the railroad, that part is just scrubland. Your piece of property. I see activity, probably in a couple of weeks. The hunters will come in and put their stands up along the property. Winter comes, we chase out the snowmobilers. And the spring comes, we get the dirt bikes. But basically, that's all it's used for. And we saw this, it would help us continue the draining. That's very important. Heavy rain, if we don't get to keep it clean, the water backs up and a couple of times come into the building. So we're continually dredging that area right where GE and us come together. That's one of our main reasons that this looks pretty good because it gives us a little more opportunity to control it and make improvements.
And in addition, we have a problem at the back end as far as our fire protection for the access, if I don't know if you can see this, but it's very narrow at the back end of the building for fire trucks coming around. And we have a problem there with our armed trucks, so the fire trucks have got to get through first of all. And then we've been talking about increasing our loading dock area out a little bit and improving that, because that's been there since we built the building. And we can't go west very far because we got the railroad bed there. And then in addition to that, we have the property up front that we were thinking about developing. We tried to develop it before when we had Mackenzie Childs in there. And but we didn't have enough room to get them an acceptable building. So with that little extra space, that would help us and give us more flexibility to do something there.
So you own the old Nichols building, is that what it is?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and this property is to the east of that? Is it north
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that? Can I see that?
You wanna- They could show you.
What's an old railroad bed?
That's the old railroad bed.
Okay.
And we own, if you continue that line down, going, I guess it's north, down that way past GE, we own the other railroad back up to that point. So we would have bought,
Railroad. No, it's.
yeah, right there, that's the railroad.
East Cross Genesee Street by,
Yeah.
Experimental Road.
Yeah,
So we're talking just about the railroad then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big a piece is it?
It's about, it's less than 3 acres. It's 2.5, I think.
So,
Yeah, this is our building right here, this is the Nichols building, that's where it's tight, but if you consider that up there, we own that, it goes to our Ellis Drive building.
okay.
And there, and then we own this property up here, we try to develop it, and then there's a big power line right there.
Right.
And then one there, and there, and there, and there, it goes across, so it's sort of an isolated strip. And we have the drainage problem, and this is a loading dock which we want to expand, because we get busy, and we need that, we put the loading docks here, but we can't go out this way, because we can't get around it.
And we don't own any, this is the only land we own?
Yeah.
This little strip?
Yeah, so up here, NICEAG owns this section. We own that section.
Would we ever need it for?
How did we end up with it? You know? Well, I'm not sure. I don't remember. Mike didn't think we bought it at some point, but I bought a couple old railroad beds. First they have to offer them to the utilities, the municipality. Well, it keeps dropping down. It took me like 5 years to buy them. Well, I was the one that put me like 7 years on the other one, and they were both like 2 years. But apparently, when it got down to municipality, either they deeded it over to us, or we said, yeah, we'll take it. For whatever reason, I do not know.
But we don't need it for egress, exit, anything.
This is Genesee, and this is the Genesee.
We bought the other, section, we bought the Ellis Drive building, that rural section, and actually paid twice for it. Thought we bought it from EIS the first time, and then we had to buy it again.
That's Frankie. You got no Frank to appreciate it.
You remember that?
Kitchen equipment.
Yes, the,
Kitchen.
yeah, it's the, yeah.
Anyway.
And we talked, I think we talked to somebody years ago about buying it before, but because of the weight farm, you were interested in that weight farm, and you didn't want to let that go because it was adjacent to. I'm talking way back.
How wide is it?
That's something, we talked about, we had a guy who was gonna put tomato thing there.
30 to 50 feet. Basically, just the railroad. It's all scrubbed over tree, but we sort
Where's
of
it
control it.
Where's it in?
Pardon?
Where does it end?
That's a good question. I don't know. It starts at West Genesee, it goes past us, past GE, and then I don't know how far it goes, because I don't have
Right
to.
up to the road,
Well, its description is
Yeah,
2.6 acres on your tax map.
So, are you here today to make us an offer, or just to see if we're interested?
Well, first of all, we'll tell you to give it to us, but,
No, that's what.
Held off
for a second. To be honest, sir, we haven't really got that far.
but it's really just a long line, very narrow, and it's just.
That it right there,
It's right there.
from Genesee, all the way back behind GE, at some point it ends there, right?
Yeah.
We also transferred you was it a old railroad bed off of Columbus, maybe 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah,
We did that? Yeah,
Yep, you did that.
I know I dealt with Peter on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Good snow. Yeah.
Like Jason, every winter.
Yeah.
But they do, they come, they get on West Genesee, follow the path and come down on our property. And just, continually circle, you know,
Genesee.
you all just screaming them so much. And
Right there, at B26.
that's sort of.
No. Look, they're experimental, it's experimental.
The liability wise too for, you know, they're going for, right.
It used to cut up through,
Something.
Yeah.
this is Carpenter's place, no, through mine. Used to be a depot right there by my son's house across the street. Way before me. Action, discussion,
Take it up the next time.
fine.
unless they wanna bring us an offer before they have.
Probably covered that.
Well, I give them another opportunity.
We haven't really talked, price on it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know it was available. I mean, you would be willing to let us work on it.
Right.
You know, I think we'd be open to
Okay, well, we'll probably have the executive session toward the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I'll have like, well.
And I can follow up.
Well, so we appreciate the opportunity to become part of it.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, you guys, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Need a railroad? Yeah, probably.
Jody, how we doing?
How are you?
Good,
Thank you for having me back.
thank you. We had a really lively public hearing on the Ledyard. Nobody showed. But it's very unusual for the end of Aurora.
It is, it's a lot different than the last one.
You want to describe your project to the board and
Sure, for those of you that are familiar with the into the Aurora Spa, and what sits in front of it is a beautiful old farmhouse that we're going to renovate to be 10 or 11 rooms, I can't remember. It's a magnificent building and it's one of the last ones to be restored. And it's right there at the spa, so it sat for at least 20 years, so it's time to do something with it. And Pleasant's willing to do that now, so we're gonna take advantage of it, and rooms are a higher profit margin, so that's the best use of the property, so it helps us get to our ultimate goal, keep us there into the future. So on the project, we're asking for like a sales tax exemption. The numbers come down since we were here last time. But and I think Michael did a nice chart on the payback of 3 years. What I didn't include in the application with the jobs and the sales tax impact is what the impact that will also happen downtown. Because the restaurants will become more busy, we'll have to hire more down there. That isn't reflected in here. So I think the impact is greater than, we're gonna see more than what we see here. But it'll be a little more different. There'll be the current properties, there's 2 suites. This will add more suites, which people are willing to pay for. It'll have a little different flair because there might be some custom spa treatments that can happen in there, which allows us to charge more. So we're excited at the chance to get it going and get it open and add to the other ends. Any questions?
How much are we looking for?
It's 475 now,
475,
475.
and that's just for the sales tax to furnish and purchase materials.
Right,
And how many jobs would we be creating?
over a 3-year period, a minimum of 10, and that doesn't factor in any food and beverage increase. We have a high rate of guests that do come to the restaurants. There's not a lot of options, so they do, they do come down. So to be honest, I think it's gonna be more because the restaurants are gonna have to ramp up. But, and these aren't minimum wage jobs. These start higher and some of them, like we talked about last time, like the massage therapists are good careers, well-paying jobs.
So if you were to guess on an average, you might not have that number, but the average of the per person salary.
Per person, because it's everywhere from a housekeeper to, buildings and grounds to facilities to massage therapists. On average, I'll say 50,000. There's probably 60 because the massage therapists stretch it out quite a bit. So if you're looking for a part-time job and would like to get trained, it's not a bad.
60? You said
Probably 60, yeah.
I think that's what you said.
Because the massage therapists really bump it up.
Looking for massage.
Yeah, I know training might be a year, I'm not sure, we'll train you.
John's always looking for a career opportunity.
Yeah, it's a busy place.
And timing, it's
Timing, we hope to be open by May of next year.
Okay. Very good.
Any other questions for Joe? So Rick, Justin, please remind me for the project authorizing resolution that you'd like me to read next 4 pages.
I think you can probably just go through the heading and see if you can get a motion in a second.
Justin, are you speaking?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, he was on me.
Muted.
We're only that easy now.
This was part of the packet that Mike submitted, and it's also part of the written packet, that's in front of you. It's the last,
Can you hear me all
6 pages of your packet. Well, except for the last page. Prepared by our, special counsel, Justin.
Mind trying to speak now, Justin?
Is this working okay?
There we go, yes.
Hey, folks.
I'd say just go through and highlight it.
Yeah, it's the sunlight.
Motion second to get on the floor.
Oh,
On the bit.
Andy second.
So resolution to CCIDA, one authorizing undertaking of a certain project. The benefit of the Aurora, 2, appointing the company as its agent to undertake the same, 3, authorizing the provision of financial assistance to the company, and 4, authorizing the negotiation, execution, and delivery of an agent and financial assistance and project agreement and related documents with respect to the project. So I'm going to skip down to the second paragraph.
Yep.
Whereas Aurora LLC for itself or on behalf of an entity to be formed, previously submitted an application to the agency requesting that the agency consider undertaking a project consisting of A, the appointment of the company as agent of the agency to undertake the renovation and construction of a hospitality facility to be located on portions of an approximately 265-acre parcel of land. And certain existing improvements located thereon, including an approximately 7,000 square foot farmhouse, along with related site improvements. B, the planning, design, construction, reconstruction, rehab, and upgrade of the existing improvements, the modern lodging and hospitality facility, including of 11 guest rooms to be situated within the existing structure and additions to be constructed, common rooms, building additions, ADA upgrades, and various outdoor improvements, parking and site improvements. C, the acquisition, installation in and around the existing improvements and improvements of certain machinery, equipment, and other items of tangible personal property. And whereas on March 19th, 2024, the agency adopted an initial resolution which 1, accepted the company's application, 2, authorized the scheduling and conduct of a public hearing in compliance with the act, 3, described contemplated forms of financial assistance provided by the agency, 4, ratified the findings of the Town of Ledger Planning Board as lead agency pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, Article 8, i.e. seeker. 5, authorize the negotiation of an agent and financial assistance and project agreement to be entered into with respect for the project. In accordance with the initial project resolution, the agency published and forwarded a notice of public hearing to the Town of Ledger, County of Cayuga, and the Southern Cayuga Central School District. I have all copies and exhibits here. As necessary for this. Okay. Let's skip down to section 1. The company has presented the application and related info in a form acceptable to the agency based upon representations made by the company to the agency. The agency hereby finds and determines that A, by virtue of the act, the agency has been vested with all powers necessary and convenient to carry out and effectuate the purposes and provisions of the act and to exercise all powers granted to it under the act. B, it is desirable and in the public interest for the agency to appoint the company as its agent for purposes of acquiring, constructing, reconstructing, renovating, equipping the project. C, the agency has the authority to take the actions contemplated herein under the act. D, the action to be taken by the agency will induce the company to develop a project, thereby increasing employment opportunities in Cayuga County, and otherwise furthering the purposes of the agency as set forth in the act. E, the agency will not result in the removal of the facility or plant of the company or any other proposed occupant of the project from one area of the state to another area of the state, or result in the abandonment of one or more plants or facilities of the company or any other proposed occupant of the project located within the state. The agency hereby finds that based on the company's application, to the extent occupants are relocating from one plant or facility to the other, the project is reasonably necessary to discourage the project occupants from moving any such facility or plant to a location outside of the state, and or is reasonably necessary to preserve the competitive position of the project occupants in their respective industries. F, based upon the agency's prior review of the application submitted by the company along with supporting materials, the project will include facilities or properties that are primarily used in all making retail sales as defined within section 8622 of the Act. Customers who personally visit the facility, notwithstanding its going and based upon the application and supporting materials prepared and presented by the company to the agency, and pursuant to section 862A of the Act, the project is likely to attract a significant number of visitors from outside the economic development region. Rick, Justin, tell me where to stop. What's that? All right.
I think you generally covered it. The heading summarizes most of it. This is the last step along the way and authorizes the undertaking of the project and providing the sales tax benefit for the benefit of the project itself. So it's a good summary, and unless you have any other updates on the project or if there's any comments on the substance of the resolution, you guys can feel free to move it and take a roll call.
So before, just, I need to change the 480 to 475.
Yes. John.
Section 4, Mike. Page 1.
Four.
I'll change my motion to.
We actually rounded that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, we rounded that. So based on the application, Joey brought up a great point of, what they have right now are kind of estimates, and part of the concern was, well, what if a little bit of cost overrun? So we rounded that up in the application to make sure it was to account for any overages.
So we'll pay a little bit more now and a fee.
And my other question is, just with regards to, labor requirements. Can
Right.
you give us an idea of which county, I mean, is it mostly Cayuga County, you've got Portland?
20, I think percent was very local, and then 60% are the 5 counties around us.
I had a public hearing.
Yeah, just quickly, what's so specialized that only 20% was local?
Well, we went with Welliver because we've done 2 not projects this size, 2 bigger projects with them, and it's gone very well. They have their supervisor is local, so he can be in, I think he's in funding, so he can be in Aurora all the time. We've struggled with some of the biggest contractors in the past, and we have, a good relationship with them and trust them. So we felt like that was the best decision for the project, was to keep with Welliver based on.
So where are they at?
Welliver is. I'm sorry, is it? I'll go it real quick. There's a number there. I'm sorry, I didn't read the.
But you are getting a substantial amount of local jobs, permanent local jobs.
And vendors that we're using their contour balls. So I have a list of some of the your materials, builders place, line doors. I remember one of the local labor utilization reports was from Vitality. So there's definitely local impact.
our, not to beat it to death, but our policy is 65% local.
Okay.
Something like that. And,
Yes.
I guess I don't understand it. Like, general construction, right? You're doing general construction.
We don't, I'm comparing it to spa, there's always,
I mean, there'll be some more
specialized, there's definitely
specialized,
specialized.
but
There's
renovation of a building, I would consider general construction. And we're not hiring more people, as subcontractors, for instance.
Well, like Vitality, I wish I had all the labor utilization reports. They're one of the subcontractors that they're being used.
But your point is like the electricians,
Plumbers.
plumbers. It's usually a bone contention.
Well, it is, so I guess what do we do?
So I do have the local labor utilization, so, based on what was provided to us, over 21% is going to be sourced within Cayuga County and the city of Auburn. And, substantially 60% is going to be in our surrounding counties. Which includes Oswego, Onondaga, Portland, Tompkins, 17.
So I think John's is valid to me, if it's only 21%, what can we do? And then just get that number increased just a little bit, because we are the ones that are supporting and backing. So we want to see the benefit for our organization. I do believe 21 is quite low. And if we have like a benchmark of sorts, to say that usually we try to have like at least. Would you mind if I name off some of these other contractors that are part of it at this point? J&E Electric, Paint, Comfort Systems, BR Johnson, Lakeview Landscape, Martino Tile, North Star, Shulk, Vitality, Bush, American Auger, Bear, Butlers, Hale, Spray Foam, Blair, just so here.
Blair Longo.
Excuse me.
What's the policy like,
That's really very, very good.
There was a waiver request,
And
policy waiver request.
they had submitted that as part of their application, which was included in our analysis through public hearing. So going through what our policy agreement is, required to use local labor for 100% of construction, 65% of all project employees of the general contractor, some contractor must reside within Cayuga County, additional 20% to reside within an adjacent county. Agency may determine on a case-by-case basis to waive all or a portion of the local labor policy for a project, for a portion of the project, for consideration of issues, necessity of specialized skills, cost differentials, etc., of at least 10% between local and non-local services, documented lack of workers meeting this and other compelling circumstances exist.
If you don't mind me offering that, I think, the property tax impact, will be great once this is.
I think to
And the
John,
sales tax impact.
I think to John's point, we have turned down projects because of the labor requirement. So it's kind of a fairness too. It's up to the board.
I mean, I'm kind of new here,
No,
but
you're not.
I would think that some of this would have been dealt with before we got to this point.
Well, there was a waiver.
When was the waiver sent? I'm sorry.
At the time I submitted the application.
When was that?
What was the waiver submitted?
Mark.
It was way back.
This is mid-March. of this year? Yes.
Yeah, the only offset, I would think, to me, the permanent jobs are much more important than construction jobs, because like with the solar panels, the construction jobs come and go pretty quickly. But those,
They don't have any permanent jobs.
no, to me, those 10+ permanent jobs are more important to the NEA than the temporary construction.
So then the 21% is, it's going to be specific to just the construction and those temporary labor, is that it? The 21% that you're providing, is that just
Part of the
specific to that?
construction.
Just,
And the 10, I believe, is conservative, because it doesn't factor in the food and beverage, but
Right.
I'm ready to continue forward. I just think as a board, we need to have this discussion and address it before we get to this point in a project.
We have on other projects,
So
and
in
we've
the
been,
meantime, I'll continue to
the
support.
problem is we've been pretty firm on other projects about the labor requirement.
So this, guys, this will be the only benefit you see from us, correct? It's just sales tax.
it is. We're not going for
You're not in any way tax exempt for any other reason. You pay full taxes and.
We do.
Okay, roll call vote, let's try to, if it's defeated, then we'll send her back to the drawing board.
Mr. Lockwood,
Yes,
Mr. Rinflesh,
Yes.
Mr. Shields not here. Ms. Spino's not here. Mr. Latination. Ms. Adams,
yes.
Mr. Vitale.
Yes.
all members present voting aye, none opposed, carried.
Thank you all very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. I really do.
You're done.
And Michael's been great to work with, and we appreciate the time he's given us in a short amount of time.
Congratulations, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, best of luck.
Yes, we all have to visit the spot. So.
I guess I would have had a different attitude, had there been more people at the public hearing, but obviously the town must be in favor of it. Even the supervisors didn't have.
Calling application.
Is that?
Oh, the supervisor, yeah, but the village was,
Yeah, the village has, they have problems with everything now.
yeah.
Okay, let's do some unfinished business. My favorite update on the sewers.
So I'm happy to share that Steve Marin's here in the flesh with us for the first time. As many of you know, he replaced Mark Chambers at the beginning of this year and has been running the project ever since.
Yep.
So thanks for coming, Steve, and the floor is yours.
Absolutely. They're currently working on the control panel update. So the electrical should be done within 2 weeks. And then from that point, we're looking for a self-start, do a full test, and that will be up and functioning. The generator is scheduled to be delivered on July 10th. That is tentative, of course, but I spoke with Highlander Construction and they reached out to see the July 10th date was given to them. So from that July 10th, they figured less than a month to get that up and running, and all systems go on August 10th was their expected full completion date.
That's interesting to say that because I think it was last month, we had an extension request letter from Highlanders, so this
Yep.
negates that to an extent.
Yeah, I think they were nervous about the generator and how that was gonna work out, but I think they got some positive information in the last week.
So we gained a month, because we originally heard, well, more than a month, right? We heard almost.
Yeah, I think carts are coming faster now than they were.
Yeah,
We just ordered one of, Sun on Water, the lead time is like 3-4 months out. And basically, it's because it was more of the parts to it than it was the machine itself.
so yeah, July 10th was there.
So September looks good for full completion, everything.
Absolutely.
Further updates on the sewer line. Wow, let's go right into a nice water line. Right. Right here.
Oh, thanks.
I don't know if you're
We were
gonna-
actually gonna talk about this, I think you're gonna vote on the first right of refusal.
It's more gonna be brought up as a
okay.
discussion point to highlight some of the changes there. But since we're on the topic of water line, I know there's been a lot of discussions over the last week between the town, no plant, the city of Auburn, water and sewer. So I'm glad you're here, Carl, I'm glad you're here, so it'd be good to just get a general update from both of you to see.
Well, the last thing I heard at the meeting, which was a week and a half ago or so, was there was gonna be a resolution brought back by the county and the town of Aurelius to us. That was like somewhere around 20 days.
Yes, 20 days.
That's what I remember. So we're still waiting for that resolution.
Well, I can't speak to it per se, but I do know that I think it was Brian Gall met with the town over the last week. Town's met with the director of municipal services, Seth Jensen. I think he's also met with you guys as well to get a better sense of what kind of capacity requirements are from your side, as well as what's existing out there right now from both existing lines and the proposed line as well. So a little bit in the dark as to how the town, water and sewer had their discussion there. And if there's been any resolution as to how we might be able to work there, and there's a little more direction on this part here, but if not ready to have that discussion today, then
Say that again. Not, what do you mean, not ready to have that discussion today?
meaning if there's still a little more discussion to be had there, as you said, there was, within 20 days. Get that done, and I know some of these conversations are just happening. Most recently. So.
Okay.
I'm not sure, Rick, I believe you attended that meeting with Ryan.
So Brian, Chairman Brian Dahl of the Cuyahoga County Water and Sewer Authority and myself attended Town of Aurelia's town board meeting on Thursday, April 11th. We were told that you or your representatives from CMI attended a meeting with the city of Auburn in the town. Is that correct?
Well, we did last Thursday. I think they.
Okay.
I wasn't there. I was
Okay.
out of town.
Well, who was there for CMI?
You were there, right?
I was there, but
So, yeah, we were surprised to learn there was a meeting between you and the town and the city without anybody from this agency invited, but in any event.
This agency or water and sewer?
Hmm?
This agency or water and sewer?
No.
IDA. The IDA, it's a proposed IDA water line. So,
Well, I think the meeting wasn't about a new water line. It was about trying to figure out what we have in the park right now.
So Supervisor I advised us that at that meeting, the city of Auburn may not be able to support your water needs.
I don't believe that's true.
I don't know.
I'm sorry?
I
I
didn't
don't
hear
believe that's true.
Okay. That's what
I'm
I'm reading you what my contemporaneous notes were.
No, I understand. But I guess what I'm just trying to say is it's, right now, there's a bunch of information that needs to be collected because everyone is stating things and making. I was told in that meeting that we were asking for 4,000 GPM and we were asking for 2,000. I mean, it's.
I don't want to get into the numbers. That's above my, that's above my expertise. I'm just reading you my contemporaneous notes when we attended the town of Aurelia's town board meeting. So we were advised that your meeting with the city of Auburn in the town, that there was concern that the city of Auburn could not support your water needs the town of Aurelius is planning to do flow tests. On their end, on their town lines, to see if they could meet your needs. Apparently the city of Auburn advised CMI that they still wanted storage tanks on site. We didn't get, it was more for us to get a feel for what the town of Aurelius position was.
Did Aurelius, figure out what their capacity was? Did Aurelius figure out what their capacity is?
I can't, I think that's the purpose of the flow test.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so they're trying to see if they could.
Harold
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
What is he?
yeah, they've done the flow test.
Yeah, we were also told that a county legislator called the town, contacted the town to see if the town could supply CMI directly with the town of Aurelius's West Genesee Street water line. Would feed it. I don't know who the legislator was, did not ask. So I'm just wanted to report, Brian, Chairman Dawes and my attendance at a town of Aurelius, meeting last Thursday.
Yeah, I was the one that did it, and I talked to Brian before I did it. And I think I talked to Ray before I did it also.
All right, so you think.
But according to EDI,
I talked to that. About what?
he said there's not an issue with the city supplying that volume of water, but what Seth seemed to tell Ed was that if the milk plant uses that, the volume for hour, day, month, I don't know, don't hold me to anything, it would create a vacuum, and there would be hammering in the lines. And that would be cause breakage in the lines. And that Seth has recommended, even if all of them could supply the amount of volume to the plant, that the plant should have a balance tank, a big tank.
Big tank. When did this get discussed about the tank?
Excuse me?
When did you have that discussion with them? I'm sorry.
During my week, I have discussions with about everybody, so. And to be perfectly honest, Eddie stopped, and I was mowing the lawn, and 6 people stopped, and I had to ask my. So anyway.
So it was a legitimate meeting.
So,
Were you on the ground there?
then phone calls, and I run into John and Mike, that kind of deal.
So can I?
But from what the discussion that Seth had said to the guys, that he recommends that the milk plant have a tank. Just so that it wouldn't draw large volumes of water through the water line, so that you won't
Was
get
this
that
discussed
hammering in
at
the
our meeting?
briefly.
So, yeah, can I discuss what you took away from that meeting?
All I'm saying is there are probably 20 pieces of information that nobody knows about, and we're trying to, everyone's making statements and ultimately saying what everyone feels like they need to be done, and then the reality is right now we're collecting information. And once we have all that information, then people who have a great understanding of exactly what needs to be done are gonna look at that information and say, this is, we should probably be doing going forward, that's all.
You talk to 6 people, you can get 6 different opinions.
So we're not at a, so we're not, can I also ask, somebody might know, there was I think you guys found a restriction, right? If your pressure went from 100 down to 30 somewhere.
Yeah, and then Harold's done the test this week.
Did they find that there's a restriction?
He claimed that their GPS and all the hydrants now. And they're gonna do flow tests on them all on that circuit or lines.
Because you guys found the restriction, right? You were
No,
who was talking
Harold,
at the
Harold.
last meeting?
the
Somebody said,
town found the town said that there wasn't pressure.
wasn't the town. The town didn't know about
I think I agree with you. I was on the phone and someone said on that call that there was some point in time where your flow capacity
You're right,
had been
yeah.
significant.
There was,
What was
there was,
last?
there was speculation from the town that they may have some sort of obstruction, whether that's true or
it.
not.
Okay, but because CMI brought up the fact that at times your pressure goes down to like 30.
Yeah, we were just sharing.
Okay, yeah, I'm not-
What the Pfizer test was.
I'm not accusing anybody, I was just
No, I'm
curious
not.
what they found.
No, I think
Did
it's
they
spot
ask
on,
for it?
they talked about they had, two hydrants and we pull a lot of water out of one hydrant, the pressure there would drop dramatically.
Yeah.
So I think I agree with you, I
Yeah.
think we need another meeting, Ray, you got mow your lawn again?
Mhm.
We need another meeting and just get back to where we're discussing actual,
So if I could just. finish-
actual
I could-
facts
I could
rather
just-
than
If
speculation.
I could just finish, if I may, on a Thursday meeting at the town of Aurelius. On behalf of the authority, I know I advise them, that historically,
You advise who?
the town board in Aurelius, that Brian and I did, that historically, and by statute, that the town, the Q County Water and Sewer Authority does not go into a town for water or sewer services without the blessing, the support of that local governing body, whether it be a village or a town. And,
You said that at the meeting we had.
Yeah.
yeah,
I knew.
and I sent it to the 5 members of the board, because I think only 2 were at the meeting at CMI. And I threw out that one thing the authority was looking for, if, basically, if the IDA installs this line, and if the IDA were to consider turning it over to the Water and Sewer Authority to own and operate and maintain this line, into the, from West Genesee and Experimental into the industrial park, that the authority was hoping to begin discussions preliminarily on a posting agreement between the authority and the town, which would explicitly indicate their support, but also that they would receive some type of compensation pursuant to what the experts say is fair and equitable to everyone. But we didn't get into any specifics at all on that, because I left that meeting with the understanding that the town board is gonna do flow tests.
They did that.
And that they believe they could provide the water needs of CMI. That's how I left that meeting. That
Yep.
they're gonna do
That's
testing.
what Ed said at
Yeah.
the big meeting we had also.
Okay, but I'm talking about, this was a week later.
I agree.
So, they're they're looking and, wanna confirm with flow tests that they might be able to supply the water needs of CMI, but I leave that to the experts. But I'm just telling you how Brian and I kind of
Yep,
left that.
fair enough.
Okay?
So if I have to ask, the CMI doesn't care where they get their water, correct? I think I asked that before, you don't care where you get your water.
I just want a resolution.
Right, so going back to water coming off the West Genesee line of Aurelius. Is that realistic? Who mentioned that today? Somebody mentioned, or you said you talked to Ed about, is it possible to take it off of West Genesee and just go across the street? What was the response?
Oh, I don't think people are completely clear on where that water is coming from, whether it's coming from the existing line on West Genesee, or if it's coming from a new line coming from the city line.
No, the water. There stops at. The solar torch. I would assume the one that just goes on the south side of Genesee. Would just go across the street. Well before where there is an end. Was there discussion on that?
I don't really follow you, John, I'm sorry.
Well, there's water coming down. Well, there's water here and soil and water has water coming here. And
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer, the plant is right here.
Yep,
This is West Genesee.
yep,
You just cut across.
correct,
Or do these guys go all the way up, come over here
and then go across, correct.
So what was the discussion on?
And I don't
going
know,
across the
I
street?
don't know if there is enough supply from this line to take care of it. That's kind of the question out there.
So. I don't know myself, but I think this doesn't really do us much, because I've heard 5 different things already today. I would say, Mike, you try to get another meeting if we can get you gentlemen back. I thought the last meeting where everybody was together was productive. I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought it was very productive. All the stakeholders were there.
But we had action items out of that meeting.
We did, and it
Those-
doesn't seem
those
that they're
action
not
items.
moving.
No,
Well, I think-
There was
I think-
one,
When,
we're
when,
not finished.
if and when we do have it, we'll make sure that Seth and maybe the count, or
Well, we have to
City
have the
manager.
city there. The city's gotta be there.
We'll make sure that
But if we
either
have-
Seth or Seth and, Tiger.
So if we could have Mike coordinate that again. I think that's a lot better than us trying to guess.
Yeah,
Well,
and
but
not
we-
only that, I think that it seems like we have a lot of all these, ad hoc meetings to decide and so on, and I don't. Maybe it's just that I was not included, but I don't have any data, so the outcome, I know you said the flow test was completed, and where's the data that says
No.
what is the,
Well,
the.
the town hasn't taken.
But shouldn't we ask for it, being that we're part of this conversation? So that way, when we have, like, CMI comes in here and asks for a status as to where we are with things, we can pointedly say, okay, there was this meeting that occurred with Mr. Dahl and Rich, and here is what was decided. We know definitively, this is the position of Aurelius and water and sewer and et cetera, because I feel like it's too many meetings, it's like hard to keep track of. And maybe we could keep track if we were collecting all of the outcomes of.
And you can't make any decisions without
Exactly,
facts.
without facts. So hearing someone say, okay, we spoke and this is what we spoke about, kind of, it's kind of seems to me, and it could be just me as a new person here.
No, you're
That it's a little bit squishy and, we can't make decisions. based
Okay, what
on-
do you want to do?
We'd like to maybe have Mike, certainly not trying to do more work, but
You
I
guys
agree
okay
with what John said, coordinate a meeting where everybody's at the table, so then there's no. Kind of
He
dispute
said,
as
she
to
said.
exactly what transpired, we could
Well,
say,
can I just say one thing? Because
Yeah.
we had a meeting with everybody here.
right,
You and Brian had a meeting with the town of Aurelius. There was supposed to be a resolution between those two entities to come back to us. I guess, you as well. That's what
Yes,
the
that was
idea of the meeting was.
mm,
And we are the customer trying to find out. It seems like they're asking us for the resolution. If you want us to take that on, I don't think that's really our place.
Right.
We're trying to find out what we have right now. And what we don't know is that information. We know that the hydrant test that was back in 2022 showed PSIs that were they're fine for if we have a tank and we do pumps.
Correct.
But we were told when you guys presented another line, I think you presented it with the board, that there would be one with an 80 PSI and it's up to how many?
That's at 1,250 gallons.
1,250 gallons per minute, right? As much as 3 million gallons a day. That would be something where we didn't have to have tanks. We didn't have to have pumps. We talked about this again at the last meeting. So it seems, and that would be cheaper than putting in the tanks and pumps. You're talking about
Exactly.
$700,000 is what you guys asked us to fund for the new line. It's 2 million or plus for the tanks and pumps. It seems like, okay, let's try this one first. And it doesn't seem like the resolution's coming. You're asking me why people aren't at meetings with us. We're just trying to find out what we got. And I don't know that it's fine. If you guys want to be invited to every meeting, that's fine. We'll have every meeting, we'll have everybody there. But I think we should have the right to have some kind of a meeting to find out what we have at the site. And if you guys want to be at the next one, there's one Thursday, you can be there. If someone wants to be there.
The real question is, can Aurelius supply?
I want to know, if they say, if the town of Raleigh says we have enough, but first we need to understand what we got. I'm fine if you guys want to sit through those meetings to find out what we got. And the city of Auburn's gonna be there. So if that helps the process, I'm all for it. I like everybody being in the same room because then at least get answers.
My take is the town of Aurelius wants to see if, in their, what they want to see with their testing, they're working with you if they can supply your water needs. That's what I took, that's what I took from the meeting
Okay, so there is no resolution.
with the town.
Not right now.
The town of Aurelia's town board,
So the resolution is the town thinks they can resolve without your help.
correct? They're gonna have, as I said, I don't know, planning on having a flow test, but they believe they can meet your water needs.
We haven't heard that.
Yeah, but we need.
I heard it verbatim. Yeah,
Is
but
there
that's,
even a link
you
to
know.
it? So we can,
Yeah.
yeah, we can have time.
Do you guys want to be at the meeting Thursday?
What's the meeting Thursday? Where?
One,
and who?
it's at my office, about 2 blocks from here. And it's about trying to figure out what we got as far as flows.
Where's your office?
17 East Genesee Street.
That way.
Brian, who's gonna be at your meeting?
Where's that?
Who's gonna be at the meeting?
It's right by that Genesee beer sign,
What?
Carlos, what is that?
right across the street
Okay.
from Liberty Store or something.
For the old,
Where it is now.
So you're meeting with the city?
We have 2 offices. We have an offsite office too.
You're meeting with the city on Thursday?
Yes. And town, right? And you'll be there. And I'll be there. Just to understand the flows, because they're doing hydrant tests. He said they're doing these hydrant tests and trying to figure out what they have in the park, because apparently there's no, I guess, grids or mapping of what the,
No GPS mapping.
That's what they're doing now.
I don't know what they're doing. Do you know? Are they mapping it when they do it?
Ed just told me they're doing that.
Okay,
We need the mapping, we need the connection information from the city, we need to ultimately understand what that means as far as. How all the 3 different Park and Ellis and Genesee and how they all work, but we have to start from the beginning. We can't there's too much speculation of looking at the end and going, this is what's coming out at this hydrant. Why? That's what we're trying, that's the question we need to get answered.
Okay, Rick. Or I'm not sure who to ask, but can somebody put notes on your meeting with? I can't ask you directly because you're representing the soil and water, but.
I guess what the minutes look like when they get approved. I mean, the pertinent,
Well,
the pertinent part of the meeting, I said what the pertinent part of the meeting for this board is that, Ed I reported that, the meeting they had with CMI in the city of Auburn, city had concerns they cannot support the CMI overall project, water needs. The town is gonna be doing flow tests, that can probably meet the CMI's water needs, assuming the water source, the city can. And the city representatives at that meeting indicated that they still want storage tanks on the site. There was concern about, and I'm not a hammering issue. Is that the right word?
There's different ways to mitigate it, but yes,
Is that the word hammering issue? Yeah.
water hammer, yes.
Yeah, they're calling concern about a water hammer issue. Can you explain that? I'm sorry.
Well-
You know,
When you have a large flow of water through a pipe and a valve closes quickly, the water still has its momentum, the velocity, and it can burst the pipe. There's different options to deal with that. It's not an uncommon thing.
Which will not, yeah, so it's not worth speculating about. Anyways, it's fine, it's just.
Okay, what are we gonna do? We beat this, so
No,
I was kind of hoping you'd have a resolution in about 10 days.
it's not gonna happen.
A water and sewer meets tomorrow. Well, wait a minute.
Yes,
You're
yes.
not looking for a resolution from us.
No, it was a Cayuga County, town of Aurelia.
The Cayuga County, the water authority is in a very uncomfortable position here. Without the IDA or the town of Aurelius granting us the opportunity to sell water to the milk plant, the water authority on its own cannot come into the town of Aurelius and sell water.
no, and then that's why we moved the project from the water authority to the IDA, because the IDA can sell water.
Kevin?
yeah.
Well, was that discussed with these gentlemen before they were told that you could provide the water to them at a flow rate that wouldn't require tanks?
That's the project with moving the line, taking the line from Genesee to
That's,
industrial park. That's this project.
well, I understand that, but that project is soil and water, well, I'm not gonna get into it, but it's a soil and water project.
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer, okay. And it wasn't an IDA project until later on, so.
It still isn't.
I feel like there was a meeting and we said that we are not in the business of selling water or this stuff, so are
No,
we
but-
saying that
We are in the business of doing industrial development,
okay.
and that includes
Facilities.
extending utilities.
Then
So we've historically done, actually, the sewer line to the milk plant now is gonna be an IDA project, is an
It
IDA
is.
project. And we've done water lines,
Then we turn,
Throughout
we're gonna
the
turn it, we're gonna turn the sewer line over to water and sewer.
yeah,
Okay, what else we gonna discuss?
And we have the consent from the town on that one.
You're right, right.
So moving on from the water line, so.
Well, we're not gonna solve it, so we could figure out,
Just-
Does anybody want to be at the meeting Thursday?
not real bad.
From the IDA. You're more than welcome,
But what time is it?
11:30 in the morning. Just like to know, we don't have that much room in the office, so just.
Mike, can you read
Mike,
it?
can you meet her?
You sent a call in,
I'll just forward the meeting invite to you,
Okay.
and then you'll know it has
Okay.
information on it.
I can
Oh,
do
you're gonna
that.
have a Zoom too?
Yeah, it probably is.
Teams or? Yeah. Teams, okay.
I didn't set up the meeting. It was set up by somebody.
What
else.
is the meeting for? Is it your regular
To
meeting?
understand the flow into the park now.
It's not your regular board meeting, though.
No,
Oh, it's just,
And
it's just a meeting.
informational.
just an informational meeting with the town and the city trying to figure out what we got.
If you guys
Review
do
the
Zoom,
Rod.
I'd like to sit in on it, but that have to be Zoom, so Mike can get the link and you guys don't mind somebody else.
Rick and Justin have advised me that since I've abstained, I should be careful getting in the middle of it.
So I think Mike, minimum, Mike, you should be on there and if it's a Zoom, I wouldn't mind sitting in on it, but otherwise I can't.
Andy?
So I just sent it to Mike. If you want to forward it to whoever,
Okay, let's move on.
you can just listen in. We'll make sure we jump on.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, so what we have here, we didn't make it into the packet, but it's an amended, right of first refusal that we entered into with,
No, that's that kind of discussion.
it's small adjustment to this year. So we have gone into this with them earlier this year. The significant change is the extension of the term, capping it at 12/31/24 to 12/31/2025. And that's really contingent based on, conversations, related to, additional project no plant is evaluating at this time. It's non-binding as it is. If something else comes in, provide right to match that up with something else. We still would have to go into a land development agreement, if you would like to purchase the property and move forward with that. Part of this. Take care. Part of this is, one of the small corner lots coming off of Eagle Drive, that you have expressed interest in. Not Eagle Drive, you're gonna be lucky, saying it wrong. Off Eagle Drive there.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, this little box up there
Yeah,
for our wastewater. It's a separate, it's not in the park, I don't think.
No, it's.
it's part of the park as a whole, but that's,
Just as you pull in your driveway.
Right.
Yeah.
that's.
Even with
It's all
the
weeds right now.
current plant, that we're building. So we got our current plant and then we have one that we're building out here. We were looking at wastewater on right here. We have currently have one here and then we're looking at wastewater there. We'd rather put it over there. So in case we want to build some more things out there, wastewater. Okay. But we need to work on it like right away, because even for this new plant we're building now, we always work into the wastewater. Expanded.
And as I understand it, we're treating that as a separate project from what, this
Yes.
lots
So these
9.
three lots
through 11
here-
being treated separately
Correct.
because wastewater treatment plan is something you're ready to move on right now with fine project scope.
Yes.
And everything else, so we can move forward on that. And again, this right of first refusal is really just modification of the terms there. I haven't heard anything back from Jared, based on the red line Justin sent over.
Yeah, he's been out of town, but I thought. Be up there?
He's up there, Justin.
Justin's still there?
Yeah.
Justin, have you had any more conversations with Jared?
Yeah, we did speak, and we're on the same page with regard to the right of first refusal going out through the end of 2025. We also discussed that the corner lot that will host the proposed wastewater treatment plant can be executed faster because it's a known project that you want to pursue. I outlined some of the timing and procedures that we need to go through to sell that corner lot into most likely CMI as part of and fold it into your pilot for CMI. You'll recall that the transaction late last year involved adding lot 4 into the CMI pilot for the truck depot. So similarly, the wastewater treatment plant improvements in that lot can be folded into that pilot as well. We just need to go through the process of getting an option in place for that earlier and allow you to go through the town planning process for that treatment plant.
So this small part of here is just short of 3 acres. Can we just go ahead and buy that as part of our current project, because we need to put wastewater, which was included, with wastewater that was gonna be on. It was now part of the CMI, because we were gonna run it at CMI, and Eagle Drive Holdings was the new plant. It still is the new plant right now. I think we said there was anywhere from 79 to 81 jobs in the land development agreement. We're already gonna hire more people than that, so. There's gonna be more than 81 jobs by the time we're up and running. And that was by year 3, so. Do we need another business plan to buy these 3 acres, or can we buy this now? Question.
I don't think it's a new business plan. This is just an added improvement to the project. The IDA's sale.
Would we
The
have, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The IDA sale of land is a seeker action that we would have to take. If there's a known project attached to it, we have to wait for the town to bless it under site plan. So it's a process that we'll have to go through, and the town ultimately is going to dictate the timing. Once that approval is in place, the IDA can transfer title to that land to CMI. The most logical thing to do at that point would be to simply amend the CMI pilot and add it in there. So there's sales tax benefits for the build out and a pilot that covers that asset, whatever that asset may be.
So we don't amend the pilot we just approved, we put in another pilot?
Well, we have a pilot there. We would just, and that right now has another added 10 years for the truck depot. This would just be another asset that's in that same structure.
Yeah, when we bought lot 4, I think, right, during all this, and then. So they would be in the same operation as lot 4 and the current CMI powder plant.
Yeah, under the same umbrella.
Under that same
That's
umbrella.
exactly what Justin's saying, is folding that.
It's folded into that.
Existing agreement.
We have 2 LDA agreements, so it would fold into that one.
Is there any issue that we would have as far as starting any environmental assessment on that lot?
Not if you own it.
I remember before we owned it.
Justin, any
I would love to be out there doing an environmental assessment tomorrow.
issues, Justin?
For the secret process, as far as the site plan approval.
Well, then, Justin can speak to it.
Yeah. What's the question, John?
Is there any issue that we potentially would have with doing environmental assessments of any of these lots in order to make sure that we have everything we need for the seeker to be able to start the site plan process with the town?
Yeah, well, I mean, assuming the CMI wants to proceed with building a treatment plant there, you'd have to have it designed in some sort of sketch or whatever you would take into the planning board.
purely from an environmental standpoint, we would have to do that environmental assessment in order to submit for our seeker for our site plan approval from the town. So I'm just saying, is there any issue that we would have with doing environmental testing on that lot? And what is the time period that we would have to wait in order to be able to get that started?
The amended license that we've been talking about and we'll discuss with the board today would allow you to go do it tomorrow.
Okay.
We just need to amend the license to bring the quarter lot into it and then you can get into the design phase and we can hammer out a short and sweet LDA and allow that LDA to provide the option and joinder to go into the town planning board.
Nope, great. We can handle all the approval, excuse me, the approval process to the town. We just need to get that environmental piece started. That's the first step. So.
Yep, understood.
And when do we discuss price?
I think it was in
It's
this,
already
in this first right of refusal, it's in there.
This is,
Yeah,
Unbelievable. So much per acre is on there.
reflective of our updated land values. from
It's in the
earlier
blue
this year.
line, I think. See the blue line on page 3?
I printed out an accepted form, so I wasn't having all those.
Section 1.4.
It's actually page 5.
Very top of section 1.4. Put the values for all the.
It's looks like it's a $30,000 an acre.
So,
Well, didn't we let them receive,
Not sure.
we let them
Looks like.
bid on the other side?
we get it together.
You guys have this.
2.7.
Then we could see them.
I can speak. I got it right, so it's very good, so I'll send it, go searching. Action is gonna be around whether or not to approve the amended right of first refusal document. Assuming there's no huge feedback from Jared on your side right now.
No, he's good.
Okay.
They thought we're good.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we already kind of went through this a couple times before you went on the script, so.
Yeah.
We're perfectly fine with this.
I moved it.
Motion made and seconded. There's more discussion. Roll call vote. If nobody wants to discuss it.
Okay, yeah, that's my name. Mr. Lockwood,
Yeah,
Mr. Rinflesh,
Yes.
Bob Shea, Matthew. Mr. Lawson.
Yeah.
Ms. Adams,
Yes.
Mr. Vitale.
yes.
all members present voting aye. No opposed.
Thanks, sir.
You got it.
All right, well, good night.
It's a good evening, everybody.
Take care. Talk to you Thursday.
I may try to make that.
All right.
No, wait,
No, you can't.
I should make that.
No, please.
I like to make that. I gotta keep remembering.
Yes, I'll remind you.
Thank you. Okay. Executive Director, quick update.
Okay.
He submitted a written.
I did, I
report.
do have a written update, but I had a couple of extra things here. So
Not
our,
only did he update me about whoever.
so our IT vendor, Karen McManus, Party Cloud, has concluded his work. For the IDA, I had inquired to him if he provides break fix services, which is something breaks, you call him up. He said his firm does not do that. What he said is, what he provided to us was a very defined project scope of, I got everything set up for you, but if you want to continue working with me, I need a long-term engagement contract. Which I said is fair, and then called up Extra Mile and said, do you do break fix contracts? And said, yes, we do, depending on what the issue is. It runs from 150 to 200 an hour. There's no agreement. It's just a matter of something breaks, you call them up. Part of the reason I called up Mike Davis at Extra Mile is his familiarity with the system itself. He's local and brings quite a good reputation.
Good for,
What's the name?
Extra Mile is what he's local right here.
right up the street.
Yeah, I like the idea that you don't have a time for.
Yeah.
long term.
And they have both said, you need to consider cybersecurity insurance and everything else, and let them know. We're not sure where we're going exactly at this point. We're operating as we are, and then as it's necessary, we may have to reevaluate that a little bit in the year right
Yeah,
now.
that makes sense, Mike.
So we're good on that. I know it's an item here, but I'll include it in my update. I have been gathering director and officer insurance quotes. I have two, just received one before stepping into a meeting this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to look at. I've been inquired to 3 to 5 different firms. One of which has gotten back to me, 2 different reps with 3 different quotes. And I'm waiting for more to come in, so there's more abundance rather than 2 choices. And I said, I also need to have to look at what just came through as well before that comes in, so I will send that along once that's in from that line there. Talking about the water line, planning to attend BOSI's board meeting. I think Rick is as well on Thursday evening. The board had some outstanding questions about whether, the easement we requested for the proposed line. I think they're pretty relatively simple questions. A lot of it is what we're looking for long term, and how does that impact what their interest is on them. So that should be set there. So those are the high and low points of that. I'm happy to answer any other questions, or if you have further questions on my written update that I might be able to provide.
Thank you. Governance committee update.
Yes, so we went through the packet. The only thing we discussed changing was, one of our goals is to, invite selected municipal officers to attend an IDA meeting at least 4 times a year. We would like to change that to, focus on governmental relations, outreach to municipal and regional officials at least 4 times a year. And then some of the thoughts we had was we would invite regional partners. We'd outreach to ADA and CCIDA and so forth. We'd probably attend one of the supervisory meetings. Other than that, we went through the rest of the package. Everything looked good. The only other thought we had was on, this is more tactical. And it's always great to have fresh eyes on this stuff. We've got a section that says we should keep the board informed on current best governance practices and review corporate governance trends. So we've asked Mike to get us some information on that. And maybe at the next meeting, we'll see if there's anything we should do something. But other than that, we'd like to. Oh, yes, the questionnaire. Mike was extremely disappointed that we only had 3 people fill out the questionnaire last year. So we'd like to maybe do a midpoint touch point. And then when we end the questionnaire, we ask that people, it only takes 5 minutes, that people fill out the questionnaire in the meeting and turn them in immediately, so we can get some compliance.
That's the only way you're gonna get them done.
Well, that's how I do mine, and it takes.
Yes. Just do it.
While Mike's rambling on, I just checked. Was there anything else?
No, you covered it well, very well, yes.
Yes. So we'd like a motion to accept.
Discussion. All in favor?
I
Oh, thanks for your time.
Yeah, and Gina had called, she wasn't able to attend, but she
Yeah.
had called me and gave me some input too. So
Regular meeting schedule.
Before you skip down to regular meeting schedule, I'm talking about getting forms filled out within your packet.
Oh,
Sort of fiduciary acknowledgement form. I have two.
It's back page of your,
It should be the last document in the package. Please just sign and hand over to me before you head out today. The regular meeting monthly schedule, what we talked about last month is adjusting it to Thursday, the third Thursday of every month at 4 o'clock. Because our current meeting time is conflicting with two of our board members to attend Ways and Means. So that would put our next meeting
2 days later.
May 16th. Same place, and I'll just have to make sure to double check the chamber that this meeting is available to do so.
Any questions on that?
No, yeah, it's a great idea.
Is there a motion to go into executive session for contract negotiation?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh.
Yes. I think you're all set, Steve. Thanks very much.